Hey everybody, Michael Reno Harrell here with my good friend Jack Williams.
Hi Michael.
How are you?
I'm good.
We're at the beautiful Cary Theater in downtown Cary, North Carolina. How long has it been since we've seen each other? Since the last time we did a co-bill here, maybe, huh?
That or the
river?
At the Edisto River.
At the Edisto River, that's right. Well, this man here has played with everybody that's worth anything. He even played with me before. That's fun.
That was the fun part.
That was the fun part. Tell us a little bit about what's your first memory of music?
First memory of music?
Yeah.
My mother's Victrola.
Yeah. There was music in your house?
When I was, I remember being 1 and 2 and 3 years old.
Yeah.
I was aware of music. They played that Victrola, and the 78s when they changed, the record fell, and you heard it all through the house.
Yeah.
My mother played Rachmaninoff, the Dorsey Brothers, Larry Adler on the harmonica,
Yeah.
Benny Goodman, stuff like that.
You played horn early on, didn't you?
As a trumpet player,
Trumpet
before I was
player.
a guitar player.
Right. You think that influenced?
Absolutely.
That's where it started?
That's where I get chords like sound like a big band. I know. See, maybe I shouldn't say this, but I'm not a fan of guitar music.
But it's portable.
It's
and
portable,
you can sing with it.
And you can sing with it. You can tell stories with it, and you can make it sound. You can play classical. You can make it like a big band. And that's all what I did with the guitar, is make it sound like I wanted it to sound.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't hearing things on the guitar that were up my creek.
I've always thought that you approach guitar like a piano player. You hear the chord structure that piano players see,
Well, you're close.
Yeah.
But I've been an arranger for orchestra, a composer.
I know.
And so when I arrange, certain voicings and certain sounds of the bass and the melody working together, that influenced me more than anything, being an arranger.
Yeah.
I play the piano, but that didn't influence me as much as just knowing how the orchestra and the band work.
Well, I think that's what I mean when I say you approach it like a piano player, in that you hear it chordally, you hear all the harmonies, you hear the whole thing. Your chord structure, the chords you play, sounds, you approach it from somewhere that I don't know where it is.
Well, it's just because I played jazz, I played a lot of classical, played lute in a Renaissance ensemble for a while, trumpet in a beatnik coffee house in Seattle for years, and you just get all these different flavors. It just makes a stew out of you.
Yeah.
That's all I am.
Well, you're one of my favorite stews.
Well, thank you.
So, when did you start playing guitar? What age?
September 1958.
You know the month. What
I know
happened?
the month.
What happened?
What happened? I've been playing the ukulele since I was 4. And I got about 11 years I could play the dickens out of a ukulele. And I was over at my girlfriend's house and on an army base where my daddy lived. And her daddy was listening to me play. I was trying to woo her, see my impression with my ukulele chops. And he said, "Boy, why don't you play a man's instrument?" Ooh, I was struck to the heart. And he reached behind the couch and pulled forth what we now know as a Stella guitar.
A Stella, yeah.
Yeah, with strings about this high off the neck. And
sounds like
it was yellow. It was a yellow Stella.
A yellow Stella.
Yes, it was. It had the grain painted on it. And I picked it up and I realized that my dog has fled, that it was a ukulele. But instead of making rock and roll sound like it, and now
you had horsepower.
And in a week, I had formed a band and played my first gig.
Within a week?
Within a week.
And hadn't looked back.
But, I mean, you can see what I mean. You play ukulele for 11 years, the guitar, I had an innate understanding of music.
Yeah.
So when I picked that guitar up, it was like, man, this is a piece of cake.
You knew where to go.
Knew where to go.
You were home. This Martin D35, how long has it been with you?
Since it came off the wall at the Denver Folklore Center in 1974.
1974.
August, because they have the August sale. Everything's 1/3 off in the store.
Well, you're sort of known for that guitar. It's been all over the world, I know.
It's been around the block.
Who all of you played with? I mean, I don't want the complete list, but I know a lot of them. But just give us a little rundown of who all
You mean played with in the backyard?
No.
Played
I'm
with on
talking
stage?
about you
Accompanied
know,
or
accompanied.
opening for what?
Accompanied.
Ronnie Cox, my friend, a movie actor.
Yeah, our friend Ronnie Cox, great
Yes.
guy,
Tom
great musician, great songwriter.
Tom Paxton.
Yep.
Peter Yarrow.
Mm-hmm.
Mickey Newbury.
Mickey Newbury. That's
Well,
That's a whole chapter in your life.
That's
there.
the whole chapter. Last 7 years of his life.
Yeah.
Who else have I accompanied? I've accompanied a lot. I'm at the Kerrville Festival and other festivals, people get me on the stage.
Sure.
So I played, John Smith, Ellis Paul, Ruthie Foster, Harry Nilsson.
Oh yeah, I remember.
But no, he never played a
remember
gig
seeing
in his
that,
life,
yeah.
really. He just wrote songs, and he's a creature of the studio.
Yeah.
But we played together, and I don't know. That's about it.
That's a pretty impressive list, though. Anybody else in your family play?
No,
Just you?
it's me.
Well, you got all the talent then.
I got all of it. In fact, there was some doubt as to whose child this was when I was born.
When did you know that you were going to be a professional musician? This is what you were going to do.
1958.
When you got that guitar, you knew that was it.
I knew it.
Yeah.
My mother knew it. She knew it before that, I think, because
So were you?
because
13 or
she was
14?
not afraid to push me in the direction of what I showed a true aptitude for.
Right.
And if it had been left in my daddy's hands, I had no idea where I'd end up today. I mean, he didn't object because he had to deal with her.
Right.
But she,
And he was a military man.
he's a military man.
Yeah.
How much music do you have in the military besides John Philip Sousa?
That's it. I got my first good guitar when my dad looked at my report card and looked at my mother and said, "We need to get Michael a better guitar." So that's the same story. They knew early on that I wasn't going to be an engineer.
Yeah. Well, you were lucky, and I was lucky.
Yeah.
There are people military kids especially, you will not be playing that music in our house, and you won't follow this as a career.
That's right.
End of story.
Yeah. So you started out playing in bands right away?
Yeah, right away.
What kind of bands? Rock and roll?
Rock and roll.
Yeah.
And within a couple of years, I'd run into some guys who, you've met Wayne Manning.
Yeah.
He played bass with me in 1960.
Oh.
He was a GI on that at Army base. And we formed a band, 2 high school kids and 3 GIs. 3 GIs with some previous professional experience, and us 2, greenhorns.
Yeah.
And we played Beatnik Coffee House up in Seattle called The End on Union Street. And I played trumpet and I played guitar. So we did some jazz gigs. And as I moved into college, I still played trumpet, so I could if I didn't have a rock gig, I could book a cocktail jazz thing, with a trio or quartet, and so it's kind of been a mix for a while.
Yeah.
And then but rock and roll and R&B has always made my living for me.
Yeah. So when did you discover that you could write songs? When did that start?
I tried. Oh man, I tried so hard to write songs when in the 60s.
Oh, I did too.
I had the wrong idea. I thought, I won't go into that. It's a long story, but I had the wrong concept of what it is to write a song and what a song could be. I just thought a song was what you hear on the radio. But I started writing 1970. I did the same kind of thing Buddha did. Buddha decided if I'm going to find enlightenment, I'm going to sit under this tree until either I die or I'm enlightened. Well, I just said, I'm through trying to write a song. I was through with that. And so I was at Hilton Head Island, and I was sitting out late night at this playground looking out at these trees and these deer, and I thought, I play classical guitar, so I could just write something. I'd never thought to write like a classical guitar. I was playing a nylon string. And I started writing just stream of consciousness lyrics. And I wrote my first song, and I thought, but I was thinking in terms of my gigs and saying to myself, this will never fly.
Right.
And it actually sort of did. And then that led to another thing, and by the time 1979 wrote came around, they were pouring out of me 2 and 3 a week.
Yeah. I know I carried one of those little notebooks, you know, with spiral bound things in my shirt pocket, thinking a song would appear in it for about 3 years. But yeah.
You got to write in it, Michael.
That's right. It's just like playing the guitar. The only way you get good at it is do it.
Doing it.
Yeah. So who were your guitar heroes early on? Who inspired you?
They were all early. My musical heroes, the reason I'm here, are closer to Brahms and Miles Davis than to Doc Watson.
Yeah.
I never paid any attention to guitar players. It didn't do much for me. Technique bored me. People with flashy technique bored me. But somebody with good ideas lit my fire.
Yeah.
And so when I heard Paul Simon do, I said, now that's cool. And so it was the idea. So I would say that Stephen Stills played some ideas that I liked.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? Helplessly Hoping. I had never done this double thumbing thing until that day in 1970, same year, where I'd been playing just classical style or rock style. And then I heard him sing Helplessly Hoping, and I thought, holy cow, I can do that.
Yeah.
And I'd never double thumbed, but for a classical player, that's a piece of cake.
Yeah.
And so I learned in one day, double thumb, and it's been the story of my life.
Well, you've been a finger style player most of your life, haven't you?
Based on that day.
Yeah.
And that song. So that might have very few guitar heroes. Chuck Berry was a guitar hero. I mean, but it was his songs. It wasn't so much his playing.
It wasn't the playing. It was the music. Yeah. What about songwriting influences? When does anybody that you thought, ooh, I want to be that good?
Yes. It wasn't that I wanted to be that good. It was just somebody I wanted to be like.
Yeah.
And he was a fellow who joined my band in 1969. His name was Randall Bramblett.
Huh.
And he and I have been friends for some time. And he had only recently started writing songs. He went to UNC and was I think he was a philosophy religion major. You know, he had this deep, heavy stuff. So his songs sort of tended in that direction. And I mistakenly thought, wow, that's for me. So I tried to write deep, dark, heavy songs, you know. So all my first ones were failures. And years later, I finally realized, you know, hey man, I'm a lot happier guy than that. But he was an influence on me first. But as far as people out there in the world writing, I was unaware of who wrote what. But until I met him. And another guy in my band named Bob Jones, who since has stopped playing music as far as I know. He was a 19-year-old kid who could sing anything and he could write anything on the spot. And he was writing some of our stuff that we were playing. And I just, boy, I want to be like that. I want to be like these guys. So my influence is right there in my band.
Yeah. Well, it's a good place to find it right at home. Yeah. But how long have you been doing a solo now? You've been a solo singer-songwriter in the folk world for Lord,
a band player since 58. I started my concurrent solo career in 68.
In 1968?
Yeah, I sat down and learned, ain't no use, sit and wonder why, baby.
Yeah.
And I learned how to do a few of those songs I hadn't yet written. I was 2 years away from writing a song.
I Googled Road Dogg and your picture came up. How many dates do you, over the years, what's been your average life on the road? How many days?
It's hard to say what the average is over the years because I'm down to less than 100 now. I'm backed off a lot.
Yeah. But when I met you 20 years ago or whenever it was,
at least 200. Maybe there were times when we hit 300. But that was in the rock and roll days where you'd play 5, 6, 7 nights a week.
Yeah.
And you'd play it all the time. So
you have a home now.
Actually do.
Actually have a home. Are you still in Arkansas?
Yes.
In Fayetteville?
Fayetteville, it's just south of Fayetteville. About 25 minutes out of town in the hills.
Beautiful part of the world.
It
Beautiful
sure is.
part of the world. And a good central location to work the road from.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a great community there.
Yeah.
It's a great musical community there. Artists, photographers, people who are and a lot of kindred spirits.
Yeah,
I love
yeah,
that part of the
a lot of musicians in that part of the world, great musicians. I've had a lot of fun out there myself over the years. We've talked about that guitar. What kind of strings? You use Monel strings? What are those? What are you playing? I can't tell in this
What
light.
brand?
What are they?
I buy them in bulk
Yeah,
because I change them before every gig.
yeah.
So it doesn't matter. You know, you can put, if I could use fishing
Anything
wires,
sounds good for one shot. doesn't
yeah,
it?
one shot. And they're just mostly extra lights, a little heavier on the bottom than extra lights. And that's about all I know about it.
And I've seen you use a flat pick before on occasion.
On occasion,
So what kind of flat pick do you carry?
I just, people give them to me.
Doesn't matter, just whatever
Well,
feels
as
good.
far as the weight, it has to fit, it has to be a certain weight. But see, I can finger pick like this.
Yeah,
There's the pick.
Right.
It rests right in there.
right.
And so
I've seen a lot of country guys, electric players that keep it in a joint somewhere like that.
That's it.
A lot of guys use that finger.
Well, this one see is easier for it's hard for me to do now because
Fits.
of arthritis. But for years, I'd played like this because I played go from a rock song to a gentle song, and then I found myself playing whole gigs without ever using the pick, but it was still.
But it's still there.
And I thought, that's foolish. So I started putting it in my pocket and came to my senses.
A lot of guys will want to know what kind of electronics you're using.
Bags.
Bags. That's good. And you've got something outboard. Is that a bags also? What is
That's
that?
part of this. Is my
Part of that.
understanding. Yeah.
Okay.
I just find something and buy it and listen to it. If it sounds good, I use it. I don't know anything about it. I set the knobs, never turn them.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I don't like knobs anyway.
I don't like it of any kind.
I don't like knobs of any kind. Well, Jack, it's been great talking with you.
You too.
We've had a lot of good times over the years.
Yes,
You're
sir.
one of my guitar heroes, I'll tell you that.
Well, thank you.
I'll tell you that.
Thank you.
And a lot of the people out there too. Why don't you play us out with one of your original tunes?
Okay. I'm one for you, honey. I'm through with the show, but I ain't going nowhere if you can't go. I'm betting my life, my sanity too. The whole ball of wax and the whole 9 yards on me and you. I'll risk the farm, I'll take a chance, 'cause we raised the stakes from a one-night stand to a true romance. You're the one, and you hung the moon, stars and sun. You're the one, and you're the light of the whole wide world. You're the one. Ain't no hurricane blow this house down. Not even an earthquake, 7.9, will turn my head around. Now there's a blizzard outside, and the winds are strong, but I'm rock steady on my feet where I belong. Send a twister my way, let the lightning strike, but it won't tear apart this house of love, let it howl all night. You're the one, and you hung the moon, stars and sun. You're the one, you're the light of the whole wide world. You're the one. Really big Salt Lake, the Gulf of Mexico, that big Okeechobee, the Atlantic and Pacific and the Shenandoah. All the water is wide, It's cold and it's deep, and it all rolls together in a big blue ball at my baby's feet. I'll catch the rain falling from the sky, and I'll bring it in a bucket to you, baby, when your well runs dry. 'Cause you're the one, you're the one, you're the one. Ooh, you home, stars and sun, you're the one. And you're the light of the whole wide, wide, wide world. You're the one. And you're the light of the whole wide, 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 wide world. You're the one. Now baby, you're the one. Oh, oh, yeah, baby, you're the baby, you're the one.
You the one.
You the one.
Thank you all for watching. I'm sorry if you're not going to be at Six String Presents tonight at the Cary Theater, but Jack will be coming to your town. Find him. It's worthwhile. Thanks, Jack.
Thank you.